So there's no fog, mist or nothing. So we'll see if this was a right decision in the end. Not really sure. Hello there and welcome to another video. Nice to see you. This time I'm out really early. I set the alarm at 3:45. Now it's about 5 minutes past 5 and the sunrise is supposed to happen now. I think it's too much clouds in the direction of the sun, but there's some colors going on here. So we'll see if we get some great light and colors on the lake, because the main attraction or main goal of the day is to photograph this woodland behind me. It's a very nice and old and protected woodland, so I hope to get some nice spring photographs in that woodland a bit later when the light is pointing into the forest. So we'll see if that's gonna work out. But I think I'm gonna try and shoot this scene right now, because the clouds are beginning to get some pink hues. Well, I had to change mics again. The DJI Mic 2 can't be trusted. It's my experience. I had them on repair, but now it's the same problem again. So it doesn't look like this is going to be the best sunrise. It's kind of the wrong location, because the sunrise is in that direction, and there's a lot of cloud there, and in that direction it's a gap. So it would have been better if this was the sunset really. But as I said earlier, the main goal is to try and shoot some woodland scenes. The strange thing is that it isn't a lot of atmosphere in the forests, even though it's quite early. I think that's because the temperatures are quite high already. It's about 10 degrees in the morning, or in the night, I'd say. So there's no fog, mist or nothing. So we'll see if this was a right decision in the end. Not really sure. Three hours of sleep. Right now I'm feeling quite good, but it was hard going out of bed, I had to say. 3:40, the alarm was set on. So I'm trying out some ND filters from Case. I'm gonna try out the polarizer to reduce the glare on the water here. And I'm also gonna try ND64 to have about 10 to 12 seconds delay right now. It's getting lighter and the sun is beginning to show through the clouds here. And some seconds ago there were some light on the landscapes in the distance there. Trying to do some more close-ups here with the wide-angle lens. A bit too late, but I've really out of practice when it comes to seascapes and scenes like this. I forgot to go close when the light and the clouds had some color in it, so that's a lesson learned. You got to practice and repeat and go out and shoot all the time to remember all the things you should do and try to get great photos. My thoughts is that these rocks here kind of making a circle and kind of pointing into the distant landscape across the lake there, and that one and those rocks over there are kind of framing the foreground at least. Neither the midground or the background are very interesting at the moment, but maybe the landscapes in the background there turns out great, I'm not sure. Here's the photo, if there's some results of this. I found an even better composition and better rocks in the lake. Again, too late for the best light, but trying out this and learning where to find the best composition makes it easier next time when you go out again to try and shoot the same locations again. It feels colder than when I arrived, and it's actually blowing a lot, quite high winds. You can see it on the lake here. And the sunlight has still not reached this area or angle. The sun is behind there. So, have to be honest, it isn't exactly what I had in mind or hoped for this. I was hoping for some mist, a more spectacular sunrise, and I hope to get some atmosphere or mist in the forest here. But that's the way it is sometimes, to predict conditions, and for photography isn't that easy. It's a lot of trial and error, and you have to take some chances. I think that's maybe the most difficult part of photography. So this composition are looking quite clean and not that cluttered. So I'll try that, even though we don't have any atmosphere, mist or fog here. One problem is the wind. To have the right shutter time in this wind, I need to have ISO about 800, I think, to get the shutter time of 1/100. Well, I'm shooting something completely different than I came here for, really. Um, the conditions aren't that interesting in the woodland here. And we got this strong wind, so that's making waves on the lake. So I'd rather take photos of that at the time, at least. It's really high winds pushing in the waves into these cliffs. And with this blue-green lake or water in the foreground, and that greens, which is lit up by the sun in the background, is looking quite good. So I'm trying the wide angle, and I hope to get some great shots of this moving water. I take it as a practice for later when I get seascapes in the western Norway or northern Norway with some mountains in the background. Not sure how this photography hike turned out, really. It was nothing like I hoped for, to be honest. So I'm not quite sure if it's what was worth getting up at 40 minutes past 3 this night. I'm feeling quite tired and knackered now, so I think I'm gonna wrap up this video soon. When I arrived here, it was sunrise, but it was very subdued. No light on this area. I knew really because this area is a steep woodland towards the west, so the sunrise is behind us. and I knew that, but I didn't knew that the light was coming into this woodland so late. It's starting to get some sunlight into the woodland here now, and it's soon 10. And after the sunrise, the wind was very heavy, so it was hard to shoot in the woodland with so much wind and no light. It is difficult to have fast enough shutter time to get leaves and everything sharp and still. So I tried to shoot some water and some seascape. That was quite nice. Quite good waves, big waves. It's rarely that big waves on this lake, so that was nice. But the background and the sky was not that great. But anyway, it was a pleasant hike, and I hope I managed to catch some spring mood. There are some beautiful spring greens here, and when the light is hitting the leaves like it's now behind us here, it's very nice. It's backlit leaves, always nice. But this forest, which is quite rare too in this area, is great, but it's very dense and cluttered and messy. So you really need some mist or fog to get great photos in this woodland, I think. But anyway, hope you enjoy this hike anyway. And if you like my channel and this kind of content, leave a comment. And if you don't subscribe to my channel yet, remember to hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate that a lot. And until next time, see you.